It's a big build-up to the derby on Saturday against Sutton United. I'm delighted to say we've got with us now defender Isaac Ogundere. Isaac, good to have you with us. First team life. They've tried to intimidate, they've tried to provoke you and so on out there getting into games. How are you finding it?
Yeah, perfect. I'm loving playing at the moment. I love the new environment of playing in League 2. It's a big physical league, so it takes time to get used to a bit more physical, play against obviously bigger players than I was last year. But yeah, I find it really good at the moment.
And getting into it as well, getting into being part of the first team squad, going away on away trips, did you have to do the initiation song?
Oh yeah, I did that back in pre-season for our pre-season trip for Manchester, so I don't have to do it anymore. But yeah, there's been a couple of good ones this year already as well, the other young boys.
What kind of reaction do you get?
Got a good one. I think I'm a good singer, so I fancy myself a little bit, but yeah, no, it was good.
Can you remember what you sang?
Ain't No Mountain High Enough. It was a good one. We're in the restaurant as well. I'm not sure if the restaurant owner liked it, but but the boys did, so yeah, it's fine.
What have the others been like?
I think Josh Davidson, his one's been good. He fancied himself a little bit as well, but yeah, he gave it a bit as well. I think he's good, yeah. But yeah, I think Quakes did his on the weekend as well, so this was good.
Roommates, have you got a good roommate?
I've had a mixture this year actually. I've had Alfie, I've had Dav, I think on the week I've had Ayub, and on the weekend I was with Hussein Biller as well, so I had a good mixture with the young boys.
Still trying to settle with one yet?
I don't really care, to be honest. I get put with anyone, young boys, see, I don't really care. Just everyone's mates, aren't they? So all the team, so don't really mind.
Nobody's kind of woken you up a bit early?
Nah, no one yet.
Pre-match though, in terms of meals, I know from last season, from experience, it kind of was sort of like breakfast and the pre-match meal was a little bit close. How do you find that? What do you like to load up on before a game?
I tend not to eat that much, to be honest, with pre-match and breakfast. I have like a bowl of cereal in the morning, breakfast normally between 9 and 10, and then pre-match is like a couple hours before the game, so around like 11:30, but I don't tend to eat that much. I don't really like having a full stomach, so, but yeah, it's all nice, it's nice food, so.
Like to keep it light, yeah?
Yeah, very light. I have to run a lot, so I can't be running with a heavy stomach.
Yeah. Let's go back a little bit in terms of your career. Tell us about that time you were out of football after you left Brentford, and before we sort of picked you up from Hayes and Yedding. Was there a time when you thought, I'm going to look at something else here?
To be honest, I think I've always been a hard worker. I've always believed in myself to get right back to the top level. I think when I got released from Brentford just before they shut down, I think that was a tough time for me. I went to a couple of clubs after that, but I was young, so my confidence was low. So I took a couple of years out, back to Sunday League, and then obviously Wimbledon picked up from Hayes and Yedding under 18s, where that was a bit more physical. I was playing a couple of years up, and then Wimbledon scouted me from there. So yeah.
Who was really responsible for getting you here though?
I think Ben, head of recruitment, Ben Fossahini.
Ben Fossahini?
Yeah, Fossahini, yeah. He was head of recruitment at the time, and I think one of my coaches knew him, and obviously Robin James had been to watch one of my games, I think scouting for their Surrey Cup run for the under 18. So yeah, and I went into training. Was here for quite a bit, to be honest. I think 6 months until I got signed. So there's a lot of other players coming in, so it was quite challenging. But in the end, got my scholarship. So yeah. Did
it ever cross your mind though to do something else outside of football during that time?
Never. I've always loved playing football. I think certainly Mum and Dad really helped push me through being a footballer where I am now. Also like sticking by me when I wasn't so confident when I was younger, and telling me to keep on going and keep on pushing, and they always had belief in me. And yeah, even if I wasn't at the highest levels now, I'd still be trying to get to the highest level.
Mum's followed your career closely, of course, as well. She's a vet. Would she ever have sort of tried to get you to go down that career path?
Not a chance. I'm not doing that. I think I like dogs. I've got 2 cats as well, but nah. She's got 2 cats, but nah, I'd never be a vet. Never.
How about in terms of your driving now? Has that come along? How important was that for young players to learn to drive at this age?
I think it's important, but not that important. If you really want it, you'll get on the train, you get on the bus. Like, I live quite far away, so I'll still get on the train from time to time because the traffic's too much. But when I was younger, I was always taking myself places when Mum and Dad weren't around. So I've always been happy taking the train, taking the bus. So it's just if if you really want it, you would go through those sort of circumstances to get to where you are now.
What are the others like with you, the other young players? Do they kind of use you as a bit of a car school or a bit of a taxi?
Nah, no one lives near me. So apart from Obed really in the under 18s, no one else lives near me. So I just get got a train. So we all get the train sometimes. See Lukey, Josh in the morning as well. So I normally get the train together.
In terms of your development, you've had a few loan spells, but one spell that was really sort of key in pushing you on last season was with Potter's Bar.
Yeah.
Particularly with former AFC Wimbledon player Sammy Moore. How much did that make an impression on you?
Yeah, Sammy Moore, I think was one of the biggest hopes for me last year. Put trust in me when I had a tough time at Leatherhead where I couldn't leave. Went for about 6 managers, played with about 80 players. So it was tough to really, every new manager you have to show what you're about again. So it was really tough to put your stamp on things at Leatherhead. But when I got to Potter's Bar, played me every game, even without seeing me play, just trusted me straight away. Played first game and then trusted me again, kept on trusting me, and he's really gave me a good stepping stone to where I am now.
What does it say about perhaps 21s, 23s football and going out on loan, bridging that gap? Was that really important to you?
Yeah, definitely, especially here. I think Wimbledon are really big on going out on loan, getting men's experience, because I think you need to have some sort of playing against men who are sometimes a bit bigger than you, knowing how to play against them, maybe being a bit clever, but dealing with that physicality and also being able to play for 3 points, knowing that feels like FA Cup as well. So I think it's all good being in a men's environment, because you're then learning to put in what you've learnt from loan into here, where you are now. So yeah.
When the time came to play for the first team here, do you remember the moment and actually going out there as well? Was there any nerves, or did you just treat it like any other game?
Of course there's going to be some nerves in some ways, but then again you just have to, you've been put there for a reason, so you have to trust your ability and how the gaffer's obviously got trust in you as well. So you've got to trust your ability and put what you've been learning and training, learning last year, put it into the game. But it's just, you need to take your chance when you get it, really.
How much of Brownie, Gunts, Piercy, Skivo all helped you since you've been in the side?
Everyone's really helped me, I think. Especially the senior boys, Gunts as well. International player, won to the cup at. Just always give me little pointers, little tips. But especially playing with him as well. It's good to be playing in front of him. Because he's always talking to you, always helping you out. Because he knows what it's like to play. He's played over, I think, 700 games. So he knows what it's like to play week in, week out. So just learning from the best and carrying on from there.
So they've made you feel really welcome. Did you have to put up with any banter from them as well, though?
Oh, there's banter. I think everyone takes banter well, especially Piercy. He's someone I don't think you'll meet again. The way his banter, he's just so funny. So yeah, it's good to be around. I think we've got a really good group. We're all close, especially between the young boys and the older lads as well. Sometimes you feel as a young lad you can't really speak to the seniors, but all the seniors here you can speak to perfectly.
We're hearing from Paris Magoma the other week that he's starting up his own YouTube channel. He goes home, he says that during the afternoons there's not much to do, so he wants to start up a YouTube channel. Has that ever crossed your mind as well? What do you do during your off time?
No, me and Paris got on really well, especially since he's been here. We've got good banter, we push each other as well, but I know he's a confident character, so I could see him being in a YouTube environment. What
about yourself? Is just go home and relax after a session?
Like a bit of golf, play golf with my mates in the afternoon sometimes, go to my gym as well. I've got a spa there, so I like to do that as well, and then chill with family.
How's the golf coming along?
Yeah, good. I don't fancy myself, but I think I'm pretty decent, and I play it most days, to be honest. It's just a way to be doing something outside of football that you can just do with your mates, especially recovery as well, you're walking, so it's good.
When did that start for you?
I've been playing it for like over a year and a half, so I love it. I spent a bit of money as well. I've spent new clubs here and there, I love it, so yeah.
How many times have you managed to get out a week to play?
In the summer, I'd say at least like 4 times a week.
Really?
In the afternoon, because we've got a course next to us, so when we go there, play sometimes, or we just play a couple of holes when the course is shut. So, but yeah, it's good.
What kind of scores have you been posting?
18 handicapper, I'd say. So not that good, but
Working
still
on it.
Working on it, yeah.
Good stuff. Look, obviously this Saturday, big game, Sutton United, Derby, big crowd will be in as well for that. How do you view this one?
Yeah, I think everyone knows it's a massive game. It's a local derby. I think growing up playing Sutton in the academy games as well, it's always been massive because they're the closest team to you. And I think us boys know, we know what it means to the fans as well. So we're going to do everything we can to get that win.
Do you know any of them on their side at all, or is it not at all?
No one. But when we get to those sort of derbies, there's no friends. So you have to. We're playing for us. We're playing for the win. So it's derby. Do it for the fans. So yeah. And
it's a game that's got a lot of history behind it as well. I mean, long before your time, I think they met in the FA Amateur Cup back in the 60s. Obviously, it was the first game that AFC Wimbledon played as a friendly at Sutton United. So it's a big one for the fans, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's always, when you've always got a team close to you, it's always going to be big for the fans. And us boys know that. It's just on us now to get a result for the fans.
Do you feel that kind of 90-minute performance is coming from the team? Because we've been able to do it in patches, we've been able to do it in halves. Is it coming, do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think after a good week of training, I think today's training session was good. Intensity. I think after a good week of training, we can show what we're about for the full 90 minutes. I know that we've been showing that maybe in one half sometimes, or the second half, but we know our jobs and we have to get the job done really.
How much, particularly obviously at this club as well, because you know the history, you've been a captain, you've won a trophy, these fans that are so important behind this club, how much have you kind of appreciated the welcome they've given you into the first team?
Oh, definitely. I've always been a big fan of being close with the fans. As you said, we grew up with Rob TV telling us how the club's a fan-owned club and how close the fans are to us. And even at under-18s games, you'd see some of the fans come before the game, that first team game, to come watch us. Just shows how tight we are as a club with the fans, and it's good to see that we can have such a tight-knit club where the fans and players are all so close together.
We've had you on one side, Jack Curry on the other side as well, and the fans sort of really kind of see you as one of their own, don't they?
Yeah, totally. I think Jack Curry from the start of the season, first game he scored, first league debut he scored, and he's been excellent ever since. So I think he's been his energy's so great on the pitch and off as well, so he's a real one to have in the changing room. So
now you're in there, obviously you're playing in the first team at the moment. We've got a few injuries about at the moment as well, but what are the targets for you for the rest of the season personally?
Keep the shirt, that's all I think. You have to go into every game like it's your last. I'm a big believer of not getting comfortable, because I think from loan as well, I think especially Leatherhead, different manager, I've had 6. I've had to show myself every single time. I think I learned there that I couldn't be comfortable, so there could be another one coming in next week or bringing in their new players. So I think especially don't get comfortable, don't think that you cracked it. I think, oh yeah, you've had maybe 1 or 2 good games, you can have to show up for the rest of the season, you can just take the foot off the pedal. I think it's just now about foot on the pedal every single game, don't get comfortable, keep the shirt.
There's so many of these other lads, talented young players we've got at the moment who are adjusting to making that step to first team life. A few of them are on the way back from injury, so do you kind of try and help them as well?
I think we're all, especially the injured lads, are in every day, so I think try to talk to them here and there, but it's about them focusing on their recovery, lead them to it, and then obviously they can be back stronger because of our great physical team here. So yeah.
Brilliant, Ogs. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Cheers.